Green Arrow issue 18, which is the start of the current run of Green Arrow, which is still ongoing right now. So this was the book that started off as a Williamson book for the first like 6 to 12 issues, and then this is 18 was the start of a new run with a new team. Chris Condon, and I had to try really hard there to say Condon and not say Condom because it's so close, and I can only imagine the grief he got in school for having a name that was so close to Condom. But
just one letter off.
Yeah. Anyway, so I didn't know what to expect from this. It was being hyped up, but I mean, I'll say I like the art a lot. I mean, I'll say that right off because
it's Monjo's.
Yeah, I think one of the things that it does, right away, is that this book clearly knows, the writer knows when to shut up and just let the art tell part of the story. Because the first few pages, it's these kids on a playground. It says then, so it's sometime in the past, and this kid finds this little pool of like black oil substance, on like the edge of the playground, and he kind of like pokes it with a stick, and he doesn't do anything with it. But at the end of it, you just sort of see like the panels go under the ground, and you just see these barrels of toxic waste or oil or whatever it is, just kind of like fermenting under there. So yeah, I mean, art is gorgeous. We skip to present day, and we kind of introduced to like the story. And again, it tells like you see like there's a couple of bubbles of like a news story on the TV as this thief is robbing a store. And it's when he gets outside, it's all very silent. He's just sort of like taking off his balaclava. And sure enough, out of nowhere, there's an arrow comes in, and he kind of like, makes the guy like drop everything, and it takes him to the police station. And again, it just knows when to shut up. There's this entire page where Green Arrow's looking down as this guy's been arrested from up above in a rooftop. And he, takes out his grapple arrow and he fires it off. And it's like, I think he has like one line where he says, "Poor kid." And other than that, it's just a silent page of like him watching from above. And then there's a glorious 2-page spread of him like, grappling through the sky, and that gorgeous Montos art that's very moody, lots of deep shadows. Yeah, I mean, this is like, we're honestly, like, we're at the point here where we're almost halfway through the book, literally, and there's been like maybe 4 speech bubbles, and it's all been gorgeous. Yeah. So hard not to like it so far, frankly.
Sure. He does talk. Condon has a good voice for the character. But like when he fires the arrow and it goes through the guy's ski mask, and he goes, "Oh God," and Ollie's like, "Nah, wrong guy, but I can still perform a few miracles," right? So he's got this wittiness to him, but then it's not overdone. So, like you said, he knows when to shut up and let the art do the work.
Yeah.
And then Ollie really doesn't talk again until he gets to his house. It was right, and he's Yeah,
it was kind of the same with Cheat in Cheshire last week, which wasn't as silent, but even that, like honestly, see for an issue 1, have your first like 3 or 4 pages be silent. Like have it just be visuals drawing you into the story. Like I really like when an issue 1, and this is technically an issue 18, but you know what I mean, it's the first issue of the run
of the arc.
Yeah. So like it draws you in such a way, as long as the art's good, obviously. But like it does something to pull you in, and then obviously once he gets back home, we start getting a lot more because he's watching the news, and we start hearing about this series of murders that's going on, and the police are kind of they're clueless, they don't really know what they're doing, and all that. And then it turns out that Ollie kind of knows some of these people involved, and we get this really fancy, because he goes to the apartment of the guy who was killed. Right, who they name him on TV, but he's like a chemical plant manager, and obviously we started the issue with the barrels of oil or chemicals, and again we get these gorgeous silent panels of Oliver climbing into this guy's apartment, and you see the police tape, which pops because the rest of the panels are like all just these shades of black and blue, and he's like holding like the torch, the flashlight, and it's just like it's all just him looking at stuff and sneaking through this apartment. It's just an oozing atmosphere. If nothing else. And it's when he looks at a photograph of like the victim shaking the hands of someone else, and you see that Oliver's in the background of the photo, and it does this thing where it's almost like the camera goes into the photograph, and we get a flashback play out from when this happened. And it's basically these 2 guys shaking hands. They're making this deal One's a senator, the other one's obviously from the chemical company.
Chemical.
And the guy tries to shake Oliver's hand, and he's like, sorry, I don't shake hands with war criminals. And the other guy's like, so sorry, Senator, I didn't know he was going to say that. And he tries to grill Oliver, and Oliver's like, no, you're selling out by doing this. Like, you've done some shady things with my company, and I'm not really happy about it. Or you did shady things with your company. And the guy's like, yeah, but you were running it for like a month. And he's like, yeah, that didn't mean I was making these big decisions. Like, you've done a lot of shady things to cover up your company's stuff and, disposing of chemicals and whatnot. So they have this conflict, and it's very much playing into Oliver's kind of, social and ecological causes that he always likes to go for. So
his Robin Hood-esque side, right?
Yeah. Because the guy's like, hey, like, you're making it sound like I'm a criminal, but like in the eyes of the law, I'm innocent. And Oliver's like, damn the law. Like, like you should.
I love the follow-up.
Yeah, on you go, Matt.
I love the follow-up where he goes, they're handing out awards, but they should be handing you a prison sentence. And he storms off. Like that sums up everything pretty well. He's like, nah, this guy has everybody but me fooled. You're poisoning people, so he's rocking the boat as much as possible.
But what's interesting though is that this definitely feels like a younger, more reckless Oliver, because he clearly cares about the cause that he's talking about, but he's kind of drunk. He's kind of like, throwing shit at a party. I'm not even sure if he's Green Arrow yet in this flashback. This might be becoming Green Arrow, but regardless, it comes back to the present day, and he's looking at the photograph, and he's got like the one eyebrow raised, which I really like, because you can't even see his eyebrow. You just sort of see one eye a bit more open than the other. So yeah, no, do you know what one of the little touches that I like, actually? So there's like someone else in the apartment with a torch, a woman of some kind. Turns out to be a detective who was investigating the crime. At least that's what she says, anyway. And Oliver like takes aim, and he says, if I were you, I'd, and then you flip the page, but it's not in a bubble. It's just like white text on the background, and that was the same earlier when he was jumping over the rooftops, and he said something, and it's almost like when he's kind of like speaking muffled, or he's but he's saying something in kind of like a superhero way where it's not like just him speaking clearly. But anyway, the detective lady thinks on her feet and like flashes her light in his eye, which kind of puts him off balance, and she tackles him. So and he ends up sort of flipping her over like behind him, and she pulls out her gun, so they have a bit of a standoff. And he's like, what are you doing here? He's like, wait, what are you doing here? I'm a detective. And she's like, what, did you forget something? Like, you've already searched this place. And she says she was hoping to find something that they missed. And so it's a bit uneasy. It's like, okay, fine, you're a detective seemingly, but like, why are you coming back to the crime scene at 2 a.m? Is it just what you're saying? Is there something more to it that you're not telling Oliver, and by extension us, the audience? I would question that. But yeah, apparently though there was another victim, and it's the other guy in the photograph. That's how the issue ends. Is that the
senator?
Yeah, the senator's dead. And it just so the book makes it abundantly clear who it is, because it goes back to a panel of the photograph, and it's the other person in the photograph now. So clearly someone is murdering everyone connected with these chemical like spillages or disposal that's unjust, So yeah, I mean, honestly, I almost want to be a dick and be like, because someone's been asking us to read this for ages and we didn't, but it's actually really good.
Well, we came out of the Williamson in the tiny, whimy BS, and I was just like, I need a break from Green Arrow. But thinking back, I think when it comes to Green Arrow, I've read it more than I haven't, and I've enjoyed most of what I've read. It really wasn't until Williamson took it over where it really took a turn,
I mean, there's definitely been mediocre Green Arrow in the past, like here or there, but I just, this was a case of like, it went on to a new team and we just didn't really notice, and then, time had passed, and it's, it's like, I don't know how many issues it's at now, but it's like 10 issues later now or something like that. But, someone cared enough that they wanted to make sure we read this and talk about it, and I'm glad they're doing it, because this was a really good issue. The art is gorgeous, the vibes are immaculate, there's so much atmosphere as he's like jumping on rooftops, or taking out criminals in alleyways, or all this crime scene stuff at the end where it's just like, you know, quiet and moody the entire time. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous stuff.
And I'd have to look if this is the same colorist as War Journal, where Montos was doing before, because it's still doing the stuff with the purples and the greens. And I don't know if Montos' style just lends itself because of the shadows to have these vibrant, you know, or if that's, you know, just part of the art in and of itself.
Is that possibly just a knock-on effect that the main characters in both have green as a color and purple just goes well against green?
Right. I don't know, because there's a lot of green and purple throughout, and I'm like, does Montos color his own stuff? And he doesn't. It's Adriano Lucas. So
yeah, I hope Montos is the is not just here for like the first 4 issues. I hope he's sticking around.
So I think so, because and it's not just us that weren't reading this, because I see this come up all the time on like lists of the best DC books you're not reading, or how come more people aren't reading Green Arrow. It's so good right now, you know. And it turns out that people are right, you know. It's so through one issue at least, you know.
Yeah.
It hooked me almost immediately with a kid. Like, I'm a sucker for like an environmental kind of thing. That's an easy way to hook me. And knowing, you know, the Robin Hood-esque vibe that Ollie can get, you know, it's all there. So, and just the wittiness too from Condon continues with Ollie here, where he asks the detective, he's like, so you throw your flashlight at the first sign of danger? Yeah, you're some kind of cop, you know. So, you know, the strong voices for here, and yeah, hopefully they don't try to pin it on Ollie. That's where I hope it doesn't go. You know, because we've gone back to the picture twice now.
Yeah, I can see them maybe going down that route, just because he was there and had this confrontation with them. Although it seems to have been years ago, just based on the vibes of it. No, I mean, I think this did a good job of like teasing what its story was, giving Oliver this great moody introduction, and then kind of making it something connected to him, but in like the sort of causes that he would go for, but also giving us this interesting mystery. If I was to make a guess who the killer is right now, it's the father of the kid at the start, because that kid maybe died because he'd gotten too close to the chemicals. That would be my guess, but you know.
With the telltale of that being that it says then.
Yes.
Right. So
yeah, that's the background. That's, you know, sometime in the past. So no, very good. Obviously, yeah, I mean, I assume he's going to, the patron here is going to make us read this again next month, issue 19, and I hope he does, because this was very, very good.
Yes. I'm trusting you, bud. I know you're listening to this. I'm trusting you. Yeah. Don't throw me a curveball.
It'd be so funny though. He's like, okay, I give you that, but now, Matt, you're going to read this terrible,
please don't,
comic by Lobdell or someone.
Don't say that.
No. So no, it's nice that someone is prodding us to go back and check this out, because this was a very good first issue. I almost like, you know, and it's such a smooth read as well, because like big chunks of it are so quiet and there's no constant, like, you know, it was the polar opposite to the Kryptonite Spectrum, which I did like, but you know, that was like so narration and dialogue heavy. This by comparison was like, no, we're going to let the mood be a big part of what the book is, and I really appreciate that. Montos is a phenomenal artist, and delighted to see some more of it. All right, what are you rating Green Arrow 18, Matt?
It's an 8.5.
8.5, you say? Yeah, I mean, I might even give it a 9. This was really good. This is really, really good.
Nice.